All of you, welcome back to yet another project video. In this, you're going to build your own decentralized exchange where you allow user to come and swap the token. So in this particular project, whatever transaction we're going to do on the main network and on the fork network. So this is what exactly you're going to build, and everything is working fine. So this is the button I have. I can simply click and it will automatically connect with my wallet because I have already connected. You can simply come back here. You can click on this open. You can paste the address of the token, and this address is on the mainnet. It will fetch the balance and it will fetch the token. You can simply select, it will select that. So the address I'm using, it has this much font because I have forked that. I will explain everything in detail about the code base as well. Just follow along with me. You can simply select the next token, click here and simply paste here and just wait. It will fetch the information about the second token and this much font. So I don't have any USDC. So before I make the swap, let me show you that what are the setup need to be done to execute this application, because whatever transaction we're going to do, it's going to happen on the mainnet as a fork. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind. So first thing you have to do is come back here in your MetaMask, click here, click on this add network. I have already added the fork network in my MetaMask. That's why I can able to fetch all of this balance. And the meta fork network is activated. It's running in the background. That's I can able to fetch the balance. So all the balance you can see about the token, which we are fetching because of the fork network. So this is the setup you have to do. Click on this network and this is the setup I have done. So you can call it whatever you want. This is the RPC endpoint for your local system. This is the chain ID and this is the ETH value. So before we perform the swap of the token, that how it's going to work on the fork network and how we are getting all of this information, let me give you a quick walkthrough of the entire code structure we have built and how everything is happening. So let's deep dive into the code structure. Let me give you the quick walkthrough of the entire source code which we're going to code together in this particular project. So here I have this one. So the very first thing you will find that we have the component section, and here we have all of this component we have converted as a global component. So this is all the component we have imported, and from here we are exporting. This is the loader, preloader, all of the things we have here. You can simply do the modification very easily in the text, and you can simply apply your own classes. So you can easily able to modify every single thing in here. Now come back to the context. Inside the context, we have this 4 files. So this is the API because we are using one of the Uniswap contract factories, which allow us to get the information and perform the swap. This is the API of ERC20 tokens, which allow us to transfer the token to the user when the user will try to swap. So this is the API. Here we have the constants. You can see I'm using this some of the user model here. So here we have these 2 packages. We are importing the API. Here we have the address. So we are using v3 swap router address. No matter which network you want to use this particular application, like you want to use on Polygon, Ethereum, Arbitrum, like all those EVM compatible chain, this router, this particular contract has the same address in all those blockchain. So this is what I have, like v3 swap router address, and here I have this particular reusable function called fetch token contract, and that I'm passing the address, RB ABA, and the signer provider. This is the Web3 provider we have. I hope you guys are familiar with this. And here we have our function. So here I have taken a account which is on the mainnet, and it has some real fund. So which I'm going to use it for testing because I don't have some real fund in my wallet to perform all the swap. So I'm going to use this particular account for that. So this is what we have. This is looks pretty good. And here I have done this particular comment because I have to find the balance of the user. So I'm finding the balance of this particular user in terms of the swap. But in the real world, when you will deploy this particular application, this is the function you have to call. You have to remove this and you have to simply provide this address here. So it's going to give us the relevant information about the user. The user is connected with the application. And this is we are getting the information about the token, about the contract, and at the end we are simply returning. And this chain ID is very important. Right now I'm going with a hard code. One is for Ethereum, but when you will deploy on the mainnet, here you have to take the chain ID dynamically. So this is what I have. So if you see this particular network variable, in that you will have all the data. From there you can easily able to get this chain ID. So that's what I have got it. And all of this information I'm simply storing in an object, and that's what I'm returning here. So that's the simple function. I'll show you practically. Just wait. Let me give you a quick walkthrough that what exactly you're going to build and how you can do the modification. So this is what we have in the constant. Now come back to the context here. And here we are performing all the magic for the swap. So we are using this particular library. And again, make sure to use the exact library we have used here. exact version. You can see we have tons of library we have used. I want you to use the exact version. Again, I'm repeating, use the exact version no matter when you are watching this particular project. And here we have this hard hat. You can simply remove that because we are not using hard hat here. I was just testing. But in case if you're using hard hat and you try to install and you want to do some modification in the contract and you want to build your own contract and include in this, then if you need hard hat for that, then you can definitely go with that. But the first thing you have to keep in mind that you have to check your hard hat, node version, that what node version you have. So in my case, currently the node version I'm using is this one, this particular one, and this node version is compatible with hard hat right now. But if you go with above this, like 2019, hard hat is not compatible with that. Okay, so if you want to use hard hat, make sure to install this particular version. And if you have installed 20, then simply downgrade it to this and work around it. It's pretty easy. So install this exact version. So before we install, let's talk about the code we have. Here we have imported this one. Here we have taken the swap router because we are using this particular SDK. Here we are taking some information because we have to provide the trade type Ether, which contain the chain. We have the token, we have the currency amount, and we have the percentage. Here we have taken this because I want to deal with all the like V1, V2, V3, all the trade types. So here I'm taking this. Here I'm taking this V3. Here we have the V2. I'm importing some of the important function like tick max, tick spacing, free amount, nearest tick, pool. That's all I'm getting from this particular V3 SDK. And I'm also importing some of the function from this router SDK like trade, and router. Here we have the Uniswap V3 pool. I'm using this JSON, the API of the contract, and I'm using this particular API which I have here. So make sure to have this exact import. Everything looks pretty good. And here we have this internal import which is coming from the context. These are the import we are using. Now here we are getting the messages like short addresses and error pass, because if something goes wrong, we have to format that error, and this particular function is coming from here. So here we have this two particular function like in the index, short address and the error message. So that's what I have here. I have taken a couple of state variable, and here we have the notification, and this is the very first function I have which allow us to connect with the wallet. So we are simply connecting and we are simply updating to our state variable, and here we are getting few information as well. So here we have the provider and we are getting the chain ID, because this chain ID is very important, which you have to provide inside the contract to get the information. And that's it. That's what we have here. So this is the current wallet function. Now here we have this load token function. So remember, when I'm passing the address into the input field, it's giving me all the details about the token, including the balance, and it's coming from this particular function, which again I will tell you. Here we have this async function which allows us to give the information about the pool, like the pool. So in that you have to provide a couple of information, the token A, token B, amount means the fee, and here we have this provider. So this will return the pool address. It will return the pool address, and that's what you have to pass here to get more information about the tick spacings, all of this liquidity, square root. We have this, all of this information. We are creating the instant. Again, everything is covered extensively in the project. So I believe that you guys have watched this particular. Come back here in the channel, and here we have tons of projects. So if I show you, this is the Uniswap clone we have built. In that I've explained every single thing, that how you can build this entire Uniswap, including the liquidity, swap, and displaying the information in your local environment. So whatever project I'm displaying, each one of these project is different in nature. So this is the complete Uniswap, that how you can deploy without using the deployed contract of Uniswap in your own local system. So this one is really big project. It will teach you a lot of things, and we have a couple of more projects. So if I show you, if I come back here, if I go to the source code section, here you will find that we have all of the projects. So let me show you. This is the project. It is one of the huge one. You can simply watch it. And this is the another Uniswap project we have. In this, we have built the token marketplace where user can come and they can simply shop the token. But this one is not related to the Uniswap. It's an internal marketplace where user can buy. So we are setting few amount of token which user can use to buy. So this is the another one, and we have another project. So this is another one. This one is the integration parts, that how you can integrate Uniswap in your application. So this is one is also important. So make sure to check this one. And this project is completely different. Okay, so don't be confused. And that's all I have explained in all of this. So this is the function we have, get pool, and is going to perform all of the tasks. Here we have this information called swap, in that we are passing the information like percentage. You can simply set the slippage, that what amount of slippage I want. I'm going with the 5%, but this is the industry standard which you have to follow. Here we have the recipient and here we have the function. Okay, don't need to do anything in here. It will work absolutely fine because we are following the industry standard. So this is the get pool, and here I have used this particular address as I told you that this address is real and it has some real value on the Ethereum mainnet. So if I copy that one, if I show you, if I take you to the ether scan, and if I paste here, you can see this address has a lot of fun. This particular user is really rich. You can see it has 201 token and they have a lot of funds. Like it has like $30,000. This is a lot of fun. So this is the account I'm going to use to fork it and test the transaction and the function we have included in our application. But if you want to use it on the mainnet and deploy this one, so simply remove that one, and here we have this information about the user. So you can see this is the provider we have, which will contain all the information. Here we have the chain ID. That's what you have to pass here instead of going with the hard code. You can simply get it from the chain. That's what you can simply provide, and you can simply remove this one. And here you have to provide the 2 token which you want to use for doing the swap. So right now I'm going with this hardcode data, but you can simply take this data into this function like token 1, token 2, and that's what you can provide here. But I'm using this 2 token. You can simply do the changes. There is no problem in that. That's what you can provide. Here we are simply providing the details of the token 1, token 2. This is fine. Here you can simply set the amount which you want to do the swap. So right now I'm going to get with the 1, but it's totally up to you. You can simply take it from the input field, like this is the user input field. Like you can take it from here, swap input, and that's what you can provide here. But I'm going with this hardcode data because I'm going to fork it. Okay, and here we are building the trade. Here we are building the router trade options, and we're going to simply console log out the information. So what it's going to do is going to first console log out this information about the 2 token, that how much I have. Then it's going to perform the transaction and it's going to give me the updated balance, which you will see. So this is the code base I have. It's pretty simple. Now let me simply execute that. You have seen the entire code base. Now let me show you. So first thing, you have to get into this particular folder and install all of these packages. So let's do so. Open up your terminal. Make sure you have to use the exact version or below this if you are using Hardhat. Otherwise, if you're going with 20, the Hardhat will not work. So let me clear my terminal and let's type cd swap. Now I have to install the packages. This will take few seconds. You can see I'm getting this particular warning that this next 14 required this particular one, but it's just a warning. And finally I have done the installation. So I'm going to simply clear my terminal. I'm going to start the application npm run dev. So npm run dev. This one is going to start the application on localhost 3000. And let's come back to the browser. Come back here, open localhost 3000. So you can see this is what I'm opening. It's taking a little bit time, and finally we have our beautiful application, which is working absolutely fine. Now you can simply click and you can simply connect because I'm already connected. That's why you can see that. So if I try to execute, it's not going to work. So let me click here and let me get the address. So if I come back here and if I go to the context and I have the address, this is the address. This is the token I'm using. Simply copy this. This one is ether. Copy, maybe it's a ether. If I paste, it's not going to give me the information about the token because I'm not running the Hardhat, the fork network. So I have to execute that. So I forgot to execute. So simply open this one, and now you have to stop the application from running. And I hope you guys have followed the setup part, in which I have explained in the very beginning that how you have to do the setup. So I have already done the setup. Now let's run that one. So I'm going to simply slip this terminal and I have to type this. I'll say npx hardhat node -- network hardhat. So in this way, what will happen that our Hardhat node will connect it to the fork network and hit enter. So the moment you do, you can see it will give us this information. And now we're going to simply interact with the Ethereum blockchain, the mainnet, and we can simply test our application. So this is simply copy and paste you have to provide. So let me show you one more time. Come back to the Hardhat, and now I have to switch my account. So I'll go back to the, let's say, This is the main net fork. This is what I have explained you. Right now you can see I don't have any funds, so I have to switch back to my account. So I'll come back to the account, and this is the Hardcoded account. Now, if I show you the information I have provided, so I'll come back here. Let's come back here, go to this network, click on this. It will take you here. And if I come back to the network, and this is the main net fork. This is the information I have provided, main net. This is the exact endpoint, RPC endpoint, which you will get. And this is what you have to provide here. This is the chain ID and ETH. Then you can easily able to connect with the fork network. So once you're done with that, now you can simply start the application. So simply reload. It's not working now. Make sure to keep running this one. And now we have to simply start the application. Type npm run dev and hit enter. This will start the application on localhost 3000. Come back here and reload the page. And now you can simply use and fetch the information from the actual network. So if I come back here, remember, if I take you back in the constant here, I'm using this particular address, this particular user address, because this has some real value. Has some real value. So if I get this particular address, copy this one. If I come back here, click on this, it's going to open that. You can see there is no address, so I have to provide that. If I provide, it's going to fetch the address, the balance. It's fetched all the information. If I click, it will automatically update that how much fund this particular user, the address we have provided, has on the mainnet. So you can see it has a lot of fund. I can do the same thing with the other token. I can copy, select here, I can paste here, and it's going to fetch the information and it's going to select. You can see right now the user doesn't have this particular token. You can pick any token. So if I go with this particular one, let's say this, let's go with this one. If I go with this, click on that, copy, and if I come back here, where it is, come back here. Okay, I reload the page. So let's do one thing. You can simply paste the address we have copied. If I simply paste the address, and you can see this is the balance. I got it. So this is the token user have this much fund. So it's working. Whatever balance we are getting, it's coming from the Ethereum mainnet, and that's how we can utilize it. But if I show you that instead of going with this hardcode address, if I take the user address, I don't have any fund. So what I will do, I'll simply comment this one, and if I try to run it, I have to simply uncomment this. And if I try to execute, this particular address means the account I'm connected with this application, means the account 2. If I paste here, okay, not this one. Let's see, let me get the address. So this is what I have. This is, okay, you can get it anyone, but it doesn't have anything. If I copy, paste here, and you can see it doesn't have any fund. It's 0, 0. So this particular user doesn't have anything. That's why I'm using this particular address, which has some real fund. So I'll bring it back, and I'm going to simply comment here. But when you will deploy this application, make sure you have to provide the user address instead of going with this. So I'll simply comment this one, and I'll get this particular buddy, and that's what I will assign here. Beautiful. Now if I pass it, I'll get the data. Copy, click here, paste here. Here you got the font, and here it's reflected. So that's the one thing which you will do when you will deploy the contract, which we're going to do in the project when we start working together. So this one is looking absolutely fine. We don't need this. And if I want to show you the object, the network object, so here you can see I have hard-coded the data. But if I show you the network object, in that you will have this one, because network object is very important. That's what we have to provide the chain information. So if I go with this, if I do the console log, if I click here, and let's do the inspect element, because it's 100% responsive for all the devices. So if I come back here, and if I go there, copy the address, reload the page, and if I click here, it's going to open the model. And just forget about this particular error. It's not an error. It's try to fetch out the information of this token, but there's no token. And here you can see it's give us the information. This is the chain ID, and that's what we try to access here. So when you are deploying on internet, so the user can utilize, make sure to chain this and provide this real value instead of going with hard code. So these are the two changes you have to do. Looks pretty good. Now we are done with this. Now let's talk about that how we can test this one. So to show you what I can do is, instead of going with this particular address, let me show you that what happened when the actual user will connect it. and try to use the application. So let's bring this. So this is what I have, the connection we have built. Let's bring this to back and comment this portion. And this is the exact thing you have to do when you are actually deploying this one and not going with the hardcore data. You can simply copy this to data and you can paste token 1 and token 2. I'll just go like this. And here we have, don't need to do any changes. You can simply provide here the information like the input amount, which I have keep in here. So this is the amount which you have to simply provide it, this amount. Now this is fine, don't need to do anything in here. Again, that's all I'm going to cover in the project. So I have already imported this particular function called swap. Now I have received this particular function here in my pages. This is the context, and here I have this particular function, and that's what I have attached and passed into this particular home component. Let's get into the home component, and I'm not passing any data because I have hard-coded data, and that's what I've simply provided. And I have attached this particular functions right up here. So if I scroll all the way down where this is the one, exchange, here I am in the browser. So the transaction is most likely to fail. So let's click here, and here you can see we got this information and it says that wrapper is invalid. So I know the problem we have. So the problem we have here, because we are going with the Ethereum, and so I have to simply comment this out and I have to turn this on. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply turn on this so you can able to see that what data exactly we are getting from our contract. And all of this data is coming from the mainnet. That's the thing you have to keep in mind. So once you save it and come back to the application, this is what we have. Now you have to simply click on this exchange. If you click there, it's going to calling me, and it's going to give us all of the data. So just wait, it's taking a little bit time. And here we got the data. You can see pool addresses, trade, we have the trade amount, we have the slippage and all. That's what we have declared. So we are going with the 5% slippage. Here we have the call data, and here we have the amount. But here we got an error, the transaction got failed because the signer is different. So the signer we are using is this one, but here the trade we want to perform with a different account. So if I show you the trade, so this is the trade function we have, and here we are provided this particular recipient, and that's why the transaction is not getting through, because the recipient is different, the address in which they have the fund is different, and the signer is different. Obviously, I hope you guys can understand that. And that's create a problem that how we can test the logic we have built, that whether it's working or not, because the signer is different, the recipient is different, and the fork network we have connected. And that's the problem we have in the ether package which we are using, because it's lacked one function which provide by Hardcoded. So if I show you the Hardcoded, it has one particular function which allow you to simply connect any wallet address and make you signer in the forknet so you can do the transaction. And that's what I'm going to do it. You can see our function is working fine and we are getting all of this data. We are getting this, but we are not able to make the transaction. So let me show you the function which I am talking about, which you will get from the Hardcoded. So that's what we have. Everything's working fine. And here you will find this particular folder, fork. In that's what I'm going to use it, because sometime what happened, this Hardcoded will not allow you to have its object on the client side. You can use it internally, but not on the client side. You can simply do that by providing the address which had fund, because in my case, my address doesn't have fund. That's why the transaction is not happening. So I have to use the Hardcoded package. So this is what I'm using. Make sure to do the exact configuration. And that's what we have done here as well. This is the exact configuration we have done here. Now, if I show you the script, so what I have done, I have simply compressed it down in a simple JavaScript format. So this is exactly the same thing. All the imports we have done. Here we have the two token, that WETH and USDT I have taken. I'm getting the contract object. Here we have the pool. Here we have the swap function, and here we have the building. And this is the same address which I'm using to perform the swap. And the best part of this Hardcoded is that it has this particular function, get impersonate signer. So when you will call this particular function and you will provide any address, it will make the signer and you can use it on the forknet to do the transaction. But this particular object is not available in the front end. You can use it, but you have to do the changes in your webpack, which again is totally a different topic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do here internally. But when you will run this particular functions, this particular script we have built, this particular function, like let me provide this / so it will not remove. But when you will use this, logic, the function we have built, the swap function, make sure to provide the real address the user address in all the places. So you can simply comment this one, and you can simply remove this, like bring it back. You can provide the real address of the user. So instead of going with the recipient, you can simply provide the real user, and that's what you can simply get here. So you have to replace the this particular user to the actual user. You can simply get the address of that particular user, which is already available here. From here you can get it, and you can simply pass it. I hope you guys understand that what we have done. So let's run this particular script. Okay, let me show you that how you can execute and use this particular function. So close this one, close this one, close all of this, and let's open up your terminal. Stop this application from running. Come back here, stop this as well. Now you have to close one tab. Now we have to get into this particular folder, because that's what we're going to use it. We'll say cd fork. Here I am, and this is the exact script I have to execute. Everything is same. This is the command I have to run to test whether the script we have built is working or not. This is the exact script we have in the application as well. So I'm going to simply paste here, and I'm going to simply click enter. If I do, I can is able to do the swap. You can able to find all the information. So just wait. It's taking a little bit time. Soon the data will come, and you can see this is the before amount, and here we have the after amount. So the transaction went successfully. So this much ETH value has, this is the WETH balance, and this is the USDC balance. But after spending 5 ETH, we got this much, 11260 USDC. So the transaction is successful. You can do all the changes, like if you want to reduce the slippage and all, that's what you can modify. Like here you can simply go with 1. I'm going with this. You can go with any value. You can simply change the address, and you can do all these changes. So if I do the changes, I can simply come here, I can simply execute the same function, and this time we're going to spend 1 ether and we do the swap. You can do vice versa as well. Everything's working fine. This is the before, and here we have the after. We have spent 1 ether. So every single thing is working fine. I hope you guys have understood the logic we have implemented. The reason we cannot use this recipient as on the fork network in our client side, because this particular method is not available in the client side, because we have to do the configuration. So that's why. But this particular script is working absolutely fine. You can simply provide the actual data in these 3 places, and you can simply deploy. And that's what we're going to learn and build together. So hope you guys have understood that what exactly coming on this particular course and what exactly you're going to build. Hope this entire thing makes sense. I just want to give you a quick walkthrough that how you can execute this particular project and what you exactly going to build. So it will give you a better idea that why this particular project is so important, because recently I'm working for a client where I'm building this particular application, but it has some other feature as well. I try to build a simplest version where you can simply do the swap in the fork. You can test with the actual blockchain Ethereum, where you can test all the features, and you can simply include that. And if you want to deploy on the mainnet, you can simply deploy this entire application where user can simply connect and they can swap the token if they have the token in that. Simply come back to the blockchain coder. Here you will find the starter file and the final source code, so you can simply get it and you can start working together. And if you really want to take your blockchain development skill to the next level, then I would suggest you to take this particular course. This will teach you a lot of things, because in this we have built one of the most complex smart contract, and we have combined it together to build a real world application NFT marketplace. So you will master Solidity programming language. You will learn every single thing about the Solidity. You will learn about the project setup, all the important tools and technology which you have to install in your computer before you deep dive as a blockchain developer. Then you will learn about the NFT marketplace, that what are the section we have, and you will have also a couple of crash course. So make sure to watch the video. I've already published 2 or 3 videos that what exactly you're going to build. So make sure to watch it. So that's the only thing from my end. I hope you guys have got an idea that what exactly you're going to build and what you will get in the final source folders. So first one is the HTML. Here you will find these assets. In that you will find all the images and the icons and the libraries which we are using in the project. So if you want to go with the HTML template, you can simply do the modification. This is the complete template which you will get. So all you have to do is to simply get into this particular file and simply click on this go live, and it's going to open this particular application in your browser, and this is how it's going to look. So we have not attached any function in this HTML template. You can simply do the modification from your end. Every single thing looks absolutely fine and 100% responsive. You can see you can go to different section of the application, and that's all working absolutely fine. Contact, you can pick the languages, everything's working fine. So this is the HTML template, and this is what you will get in the HTML. Simply